I'm Sarah. I'm 27 and from Lancashire. At the moment, I've got a 2-bedroom flat with my daughter and I'm studying law with criminology at university. And I've been clean for 117 days now. I feel amazing, I can't lie. I feel really, really good. I had a really good upbringing, to be honest, and my mum and dad have always been together. I have one older sister, and they always tried their best with us. I was a really good, bright pupil in primary school. And when I started high school, I was still that, but I started to get bullied, and so then I didn't really want to go to school, and it proper got me down. I was about 13 and I started bullying the people that were bullying me and sticking up for myself. And from that, I was in the wrong crowds. And I started skipping class, getting kicked out of lessons, constantly being on report cards. I was smoking. I started drinking at weekends and I just became a really nasty young girl. I didn't really care as long as I had friends. I was popular and I didn't really care about what my future was. When I was 14, I got really drunk and the people that I was with left me in the park because I was sick and they couldn't be bothered with me, basically. And I just remember sitting in this park crying because I thought, if I go home, mum and dad are going to catch me out. And then 2 men was walking up towards me and I thought that they were going to help me, but they both ended up attacking me. They just got away and I didn't know what to do. I just sat sort of frozen, sort of like a shock stage. And then I went off to McDonald's and got myself cleaned up. And I went home and I just lied in bed. And my mum didn't even realise. Nobody realised. But after that happened, I just didn't care at all. I started going downhill. I was turning up to school drunk. And by the time I was 15, 16, doing my GCSEs, I didn't get good grades. I failed all of them. I just weren't bothered at all. When I was partying, I felt like I was okay, and I never wanted the party to end. And the days went by and turned into weeks. And all that happened for 16, 17, 18. I was just constantly partying all the time and not there for anyone. I didn't care. My family tried to help me because I literally had no set future, no job, nothing going for me, no ambitions. And I really did struggle with living a normal life, to get a job or to be a student or anything like that. I met a guy when I was 19 and fell pregnant. Even though I was pregnant, I didn't stop the drinking and taking drugs. Before the baby was born, he started physically abusing me and that just got really out of control. It was happening every day, every night. When Amy was born, it got worse. And so after that happened, I moved back home with mum and dad. And I went through a period of time where I weren't drinking. I was just in bed all the time. I couldn't get out of bed for about a year. I ended up getting anxiety and the thought of even leaving the house gave me panic attacks. I was terrified. I started doing what I usually do. I was just leaving Amy for days on end with my mum and dad. I weren't even bothered that they had their own jobs and could have possibly lost their jobs. And obviously, Amy was getting older and asking questions by this point. And I would just disappear completely and turn my phone off because I didn't want them to ring me because I knew deep down what I was doing was wrong. I just didn't know where to start. As this went on, mum and dad weren't accepting of having Amy, so I ended up taking her out with me to parties and sessions. And I was just a really bad mum and a scatty person. And because she'd always have the best toys or the best outfits on, I thought I was the best mum in the world, but she never had time with me. I remember in December last year, I took her to this party and she watched me have a fight with somebody and the police ended up coming. So she watched me get arrested, got put in the back of a police van, and she had to tell the police where my mum and dad lived because I was just kicking off too much to even say anything. When I was in custody, that's when I found out about services that could help. I never knew what recovery was or anything like that, but I knew that if I didn't get a grip, I was going to lose my daughter. I was going to get kicked out of uni, I was going to lose everything basically, and I was desperate. When I finally understood what recovery was and I got myself a sponsor and a good group of strong women behind me, it kept me going. And I think it's like the most magical thing that I've ever been a part of. And like the work that you do on yourself, I think it's beautiful because I've never sat and done any sort of work on myself, especially around the things that I've been through. And now that I'm in recovery, the gifts it keeps giving me, it just makes me want to carry on doing it more. And I want more of the good things. I don't want any more of the bad things. It was March this year. That was the last time. That's my clean day. I haven't touched anything since March this year, and I have my family back from not doing that. I never had one, but I have a relationship now with my daughter. And she can talk to me about how she's feeling. I'm able to have a conversation with her, whereas in the past, I'd just be hungover, so I'd just snap at her. Where now you can tell she's settled. I know I've still got some issues with like my anxiety and my PTSD, and I still have some nightmares, but I'm working really hard to better myself as a person and to be a mum now and build that trust back up with my mum and dad, where they can see me changing for the better. And I wouldn't want to go back to where I was. All that started just because I wanted to be popular and I felt like I didn't want to be bullied. And I just went down the wrong path. And I chose that for myself, that path. I think by telling my story, it helps me take back control of everything that has happened, because I have taken over the narrative now of what's happened in my life. And I'm able to recognise the things that I've done that are wrong, because I can't always blame everybody else. I'm sort of able to take responsibility for my own mistakes, and it's only now that I can rectify those things, like being a mum to Amy again and getting my family back, which I've got. And it's made a massive difference. And I'm a lot happier, and I'm a lot calmer, and I'm in a much better place now.